Let's explore a societal pattern that is often observed but seldom discussed with complete candor. This discussion is not about moral judgment or condemnation. It is about analyzing observable behavioral and psychological sequences that can inform wiser personal and relational decisions. Empirical data indicates a measurable correlation between a history of multiple short-term sexual partnerships and a higher statistical probability of becoming a single parent. This is not an absolute rule. Exceptions exist in both directions, but the correlation is significant enough to warrant thoughtful examination. When we analyze the underlying psychological mechanisms, the established behavioral patterns, and the long-term consequences of certain relational choices, this connection becomes comprehensible. This is not a commentary on character. Many individuals in this situation genuinely desire stability and family. However, specific psychological factors and outcomes stemming from past decision patterns can create substantial challenges in sustaining a committed, long-term partnership. We will navigate through 5 distinct connections between a history of multiple partners and the increased likelihood of a single parent. The first involves fundamental neurobiological changes in the bonding process. The third reveals how certain expectations about relationships become unattainable. The final connection demonstrates how these patterns can create a self-perpetuating cycle. There is an additional layer critical to understand: why men who have built substantial lives, men with genuine options and long-term vision, often hesitate to enter serious commitments with women displaying this history, and why their interactions may remain casual. The explanation is rooted in rational risk assessment, not malice. But first, we must establish a foundation in human psychology and biology. This understanding changes the entire conversation. Foundational science, the neurochemistry of bonding. Sexual intimacy triggers the release of powerful neurochemicals, primarily oxytocin and vasopressin. These chemicals are evolutionarily designed to foster feelings of attachment, connection, and emotional bonding between partners. Their purpose is to create stable pair bonds capable of cooperating through the arduous, long-term task of raising offspring. In essence, our biology is engineered to use sexual intimacy as a glue to forge durable partnerships. The critical consideration is the effect of repetition on this system. With repeated formation and dissolution of sexual bonds, the efficacy of this bonding mechanism can diminish. An analogy is useful. Consider adhesive tape. The first application creates a strong bond. The second application may still hold, but with slightly less force. After numerous applications, the adhesive quality degrades significantly. The human brain is not optimally designed for repeated cycles of intense bonding and separation. Each time a deep sexual bond is formed and then broken, the neural pathways associated with attachment can become less sensitive. After many repetitions, the capacity to form the profound, secure attachments necessary for decades-long partnership and co-parenting can be compromised. This is not a moral claim. It is a neuroscientific observation with significant implications for relationship stability. Connection 1. The compromised capacity for deep attachment. The first major connection is that this neurological adjustment makes maintaining a stable, long-term relationship exceptionally difficult. Individuals with extensive histories of short-term partnerships often articulate this experience without identifying its root cause. They report, "I don't feel that spark anymore. I can't fall in love like I used to." Or something fundamental feels missing. What they are often describing is a weakened bonding mechanism. They may meet a suitable, stable, and kind potential partner, someone with all the attributes of a good co-parent. Yet, they do not experience the intense wave of connection and infatuation they recall from earlier relationships. This absence is misinterpreted as a lack of compatibility, when it may be a diminished capacity to generate that specific neurochemical response. Consequently, they may leave the relationship or never fully invest, perpetually searching for the intense feeling they remember. The tragic irony is that the intensity they seek was often not mature love, but the neurochemical rush of novel bond formation. After many experiences, even novelty fails to produce the same effect. In the context of family formation, this plays out with serious consequences. A child may be conceived, but the deep, oxytocin-mediated bond necessary to unite the parents through the challenges of sleep deprivation, financial stress, and personal sacrifice may never properly solidify. When the initial chemistry of a new relationship fades, as it always does, the substantial, weathered bond required to navigate difficulty is absent. The relationship fragments, often resulting in single parenthood. Don't forget to like this video if you're finding this analysis valuable. It helps us reach more people with this crucial information. Now, let's move to the second connection. Connection 2. Conditioned partner selection criteria. Over time, our choices reinforce our neural pathways. A woman who has repeatedly selected partners primarily for intense physical chemistry, excitement, adventure, or transient social status actively conditions her attraction template. Her brain begins to associate love and attraction with a specific type of masculine energy, often unpredictable, emotionally unavailable, and thrilling in the short term. This creates a profound mismatch when she considers long-term family formation. The stable, reliable, family-oriented man who embodies the qualities of a devoted father, patience, consistency, responsibility, often does not trigger that same intense, conditioned chemical response. Her brain may categorize him as boring or safe, lacking the drama her neural pathways have learned to equate with passion. Therefore, when pregnancy occurs, it is statistically more likely to be with the partner who generates maximum chemistry but offers minimum stability, the partner thrilling for a season but ill-suited for the marathon of fatherhood. When this partner inevitably proves unable or unwilling to commit to the responsibilities of family life, she is left to parent alone. The cycle begins with a selection pattern honed over years, leading directly to an absence of paternal support. Connection 3. The unrealistic expectation of perpetual novelty. A history consisting predominantly of short-term relationships creates a distorted benchmark for what a long-term partnership should feel like. When one spends years cycling through the initial honeymoon phases of relationships, periods characterized by biochemical intensity, novelty, and discovery, the brain begins to interpret this state as the normative condition of love. These individuals often lack experience with the subsequent, vital phases of relationship, building shared goals, navigating deep conflict, establishing routines, and cultivating a quieter, more profound, mature love that is less about euphoria and more about steadfast devotion. Each time the intense novelty phase wanes, they transition to a new partner, resetting the clock. When attempting to build a stable family unit, this becomes a critical liability. The early months and years of child rearing are the antithesis of perpetual novelty. They are demanding, repetitive, and stressful. If her expectation is that a real relationship should consistently feel like the first exhilarating weeks with a past partner, she will interpret the normal challenges of parenthood and matured partnership as a sign that he is not the right one. This can lead to the dissolution of an otherwise viable partnership, or it can create an environment so fraught with dissatisfaction that the partner withdraws. The search for that lost spark continues, now with a child in tow. The inability to tolerate the natural, deepening evolution of love becomes a direct pathway to single parenthood. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. We delve into topics like this every week, providing frameworks to help you build a stronger, more intentional life. Now, on to the fourth connection. Connection 4. The undeveloped muscle of commitment endurance. A documented history of multiple sequential partners can indicate a pattern of ending relationships when they cease to be easy or exciting. Raising a child together represents one of the most profound commitment tests a couple can face. Logically, if the established pattern has been to exit when difficulty arises or when boredom sets in, what evidence suggests this pattern will change when a newborn arrives? The postnatal period is notoriously challenging. Sleep deprivation, hormonal shifts, financial strain, loss of intimate connection, and immense pressure. This phase tests the strongest bonds. An individual who has not developed the psychological muscle for long-term commitment, who has always had the exit strategy of finding a new partner, often lacks the resilience to navigate this storm. She may, often unconsciously, make it unsustainable for the father to remain through constant conflict, dissatisfaction, or by replicating past exit behaviors. Alternatively, she may decide she is better off alone, not necessarily because the partner was deficient, but because she never cultivated the capacity to endure extended hardship within a partnership. Single parenthood then becomes a default, not always by explicit choice, but by the absence of the skills required to maintain the partnership through the drought. Connection 5. The systemic, self-perpetuating cycle. This pattern often creates a feedback loop that makes escape increasingly difficult without deliberate, intensive intervention. Once a woman is a single mother, her positioning in the long-term relationship market often shifts. Men with significant options, those who are stable, financially secure, and seeking to build a legacy, typically exercise extreme selectivity. They often, quite rationally, prioritize partners without the compounded complexity of children from previous relationships and histories, suggesting relational instability. This drastically shrinks her pool of potential long-term partners to those with fewer options themselves. Any subsequent pregnancy within such a relationship has a higher probability of replicating the initial outcome, perpetuating the cycle. Furthermore, as a single parent, she has diminished time, energy, and financial resources to invest in the deep psychological work needed to break her patterns. She is in survival mode, which reduces the bandwidth for the reflection and growth necessary to change relational trajectories. The cycle is clear. A history of transient bonds leads to compromised attachment and selection skills, which raises the probability of having a child with an incompatible partner, leading to single parenthood, which leads to reduced options, raising the likelihood of further iterations of the same pattern. Each cycle deepens the rut. Why high-agency men assess this history carefully. Now, let's address the perspective of the man who has built a life of substance. His reluctance is not rooted in cruelty, superficiality, or insecurity. It is a rational calculation for the protection of his future, his emotional well-being, his financial stability, and the legacy he hopes to build. A man with genuine value and options possesses the privilege of selectivity. He can choose a partner based on indicators of long-term compatibility and stability. When he observes an extensive history of short-term relationships, he perceives risk. He sees evidence of potentially compromised bonding capacity, patterns of impulsive decision-making, and a possible inability to endure commitment through inevitable hardships. He calculates a higher statistical probability of future relational breakdown, infidelity, or chronic dissatisfaction. He asks a prudent question. Given my options, why would I assume this elevated risk? This is not heartless. It is responsible. Protecting one's future is not selfish. It is a prerequisite for building anything lasting. Advice to ignore the past is a suggestion to disregard the most relevant data set available for predicting future behavior. High-agency men often make a clear, if unspoken, distinction. There are companions for shared enjoyment in the present, and there are partners with whom to build a future. A woman with a demonstrated pattern of transient relationships often, consciously or not, gets categorized in the first group. He may enjoy her company, but in his strategic planning, she is not considered a candidate for the mother of his children. Why? Because he understands that if he is one among many, the perceived uniqueness of their bond is low. He becomes interchangeable. For a family to thrive, the partnership must feel irreplaceable. Furthermore, he reasons that if she could not maintain commitment with others before the immense stress of children, the odds of her doing so with him during that stress are poor. He does not bet his life's work on poor odds. Comment strategy below if you understand why intelligent men must think this way. Now, let's see who does commit seriously in these scenarios. Observe the men who readily enter serious commitments with women exhibiting this history. They are often men with limited options, men who are desperate, lacking in self-esteem, or who cannot attract partners without this historical complexity. A man of true value and self-respect does not need to settle. Therefore, a serious relationship formed under these conditions is frequently a pact of mutual settling, which carries a high inherent risk of failure. The woman, seeking stability after years of volatility, may settle for a man she does not deeply respect, and the man settles for access he could not otherwise obtain. This foundation is unstable and often collapses, sometimes after a child is born, creating another single-parent household. Your role as a man building a legacy. If you are a man constructing a meaningful life, you are not a rehabilitation center, a rescue project, or a consolation prize. Your responsibility is to your future children and to the legacy you are creating. Your instinctive caution regarding partners with extensive and complex romantic histories is not a flaw. It is a form of evolutionary and logical wisdom. For millennia, men have been instinctively cautious about investing resources in situations with high perceived risk of paternal uncertainty and relational failure. Modern societal narratives that shame this instinct are asking you to ignore actuarial data for your most important life investment. The intelligent response is to politely decline that gamble. This does not mean every woman with a past is doomed, or that every man must seek a partner with no history. It means you must enter such situations with eyes wide open to the statistically elevated risks. If she has multiple children from different fathers, this is a particularly strong indicator of entrenched behavioral patterns. The crucial question is, what tangible, sustained evidence exists that the pattern is broken? Has she undertaken years of therapy, demonstrated stable long-term friendships, held a career, shown an ability to be content alone, and made consistently better decisions over a significant period? Or is the hope for change based solely on your presence? Hope is not a strategy. What to look for instead? Indicators of stability and capacity. Direct your search toward partners whose life history demonstrates the capacities you require for a family. 1. A history of sustained commitment. Look for evidence of loyalty and endurance. Have her past relationships lasted for years, navigating ups and downs? Were the conclusions based on mature, reasoned incompatibilities or a recurring loss of spark? 2. Stability in non-romantic realms. Examine her career trajectory, financial management, family relationships, and long-standing friendships. Stability is a transferable skill. A person who cannot maintain a job or a friendship is unlikely to magically maintain a marriage. 3. Consistent partner selection. Her romantic history should show a pattern of choosing partners with character, not just charisma. A roller coaster of wildly different partner types suggests an unclear self-concept and changing criteria. 4. Comfort with solitude. A partner who is capable of being alone and has chosen to be so for periods enters a relationship from a place of completeness, not emptiness or desperation. This is a cornerstone of healthy commitment. 5. Personal accountability and growth. She should be able to articulate her past patterns, her role in them, and the concrete steps she has taken to grow, without casting herself solely as a victim of circumstance. A final, critical message. These patterns do not resolve through love alone or through the presence of a good man. They require dedicated, often professional, intervention and immense personal work. Your role is not to be the catalyst for that change through your suffering or investment. Your role is to select a co-pilot for the decades-long journey of building a family and a legacy. Choosing the mother of your children is perhaps the most significant decision affecting your quality of life, your financial future, and your emotional peace for the next 20 to 30 years. To base this decision on romantic hope while willfully ignoring behavioral evidence is not noble. It is a profound disservice to your future self and your future children. As a man of value, you deserve a partner whose history is not a ledger of risk, but a resume of proven reliability. You deserve a partner who has preserved her capacity for deep, secure attachment. You deserve a union built on a foundation of demonstrated commitment, not a rehabilitation project fueled by potential. Share this video with a friend who needs to hear this. The conversation around intentional living and smart decision-making is one we need to have openly. Protecting your future is the epitome of intelligence. Applying that intelligence to the most consequential choices of your life, especially the choice of who will mother your children, is what separates those who build enduring, thriving legacies from those who become cautionary tales of wasted potential and avoidable hardship. The pattern is observable. The data is available. The psychology is explainable. Your task is to choose, not just with your heart, but with your eyes wide open and your mind fully engaged. Choose wisely. If you found this breakdown crucial for your life strategy, make sure you subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. We are here to equip you with the knowledge to build a life of strength, purpose, and lasting success.